Wasn't there gonna be?
Yeah, Gina Davis was going to be Queen Beryl. I already know where you're going. That like they were going to make Sailor Moon movie, and I think it was Alicia Silverstone. Blah, I can't talk. Sorry. Was going to be Sailor Moon, and then I think they had just thought about signing on Gina Davis as Queen Beryl, if I'm remembering this correctly.
That sounds awesome. That sounds really
and
cool.
And then somebody was like, "Are we actually going to greenlight this? I don't think we should." And so they scrapped it, which might have been a good thing, but I don't know. I always wonder about that.
When was that? Like late 90s?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the there's like a really like grimy old like camera footage from some convention where they're showing off what I think like the American remake of Sailor Moon as a cartoon was going to be like.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Oh, it's so good. I love that. I love it. There's another one that was going to be an American Gundam show, but it was going to be like basically like what if like SD Gundams were Pokemon?
Oh,
and it was like there's like a friggin' like super deformed Gundam that's like the size of like a bear maybe.
So,
and then it's hanging out with like a kid in a wheelchair. Like they've got all these it was like the Burger King Kids Club, but if they had like little super deformed Gundam as
oh my gosh.
pocket monsters.
That's amazing.
So the Sailor Moon one was half animation, half live action.
That's right.
And so when they're just like normal kids, they were live action. And like there was a kid in a wheelchair. There was some, I think, a Hispanic girl. Like just like a bunch of like random people that looked nothing like the anime characters or anything similar to it. And then when they transformed, which was really weird, they do like the animated part, and it was just really bad. I'm like, what? So that's why.
It's nice to know that Hollywood every once in a while will actually turn down a terrible idea.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of like? I think like Megan Fox is like a big anime fan,
right?
But I think she's also insane. Like,
well, yeah, we knew that.
I mean, I think that like she's been like, yeah, I wanna be in the Evangelion movie. Like, I want to be.
Didn't
Sailor
you say she
Moon.
wanted to be Sailor Moon at one point?
I think so.
No. Too old.
Oh God, it'd be so
also,
good
just
though.
no.
I kind of love the idea of like like an older Serena. Like, you ever see Young Adult with God, it was a Diablo Cody movie where like it was
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but she was the lady from Monster. But she basically was like a young adult writer who wrote all those like Beverly Cleary kind of novels, but she did it like ghostwriting it. But she basically curated her life to be like what she thought a cool woman would be like as a teenager, but she was like stunted as like in that like Mean Girls like high school mentality, and then she goes like to her high school reunion or something, and it's just horrifying, and she's got like a horrible drinking problem and just it's just really screwed up. I love the idea of like maybe the Sailor Scouts grow out of it, you know, but Serena doesn't, you know, and she's like a hot mess, and that's where you get Megan Fox.
That's
oh God.
What happened to Tuxedo Mask? Did he just like divorce her?
He's got a wife. He's got a wife and kids.
He's got a wife and kids, but it's
he settles
not
down
actually,
he settles down with Amy or whatever.
Chibiusa out of the picture is fine by me. Or Chibiusa is like
oh God,
an awkward teenager.
Oh yeah,
who has her own issues.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so weird.
Yeah, she's totally, what was it, Black Lady, but she's even more like punk rock and even more weird about her. I don't know. That show is still really super weird to me, and I love Sailor Moon. I watch it every other week now, and I'm still not sure what the hell is going on.
It's kind of weird to think how young a lot of anime characters are, and if you put them in live action, it's like how young would you have to cast people to be accurate?
Yeah,
and they probably wouldn't. But
also, I love how screwed up it is. They're like, here's a bunch of kids. Let's have them do this stuff. It's like, what could go wrong?
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm looking over like this list of anime that I binge watched over the past week, and a lot of it is high school protagonists, which as you get older, it gets harder and harder to relate to. We talked a little bit about this last week, but it's interesting because young people had that super enthusiasm and that gung-ho attitude, so it also makes sense in context that, but adults are going to be super cynical and they're not going to have time. They have to think about their families, whereas young people are like, I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I'm just going to go out and do it.
It's also like, I mean, teenagers, obviously we have teenagers watching and listening. When you're a teenager, your brain is like going crazy. Like when you were an adolescent, like your synapses are like rewiring themselves. You are having hormones go all over the place. Like you're having basically like a Big Bang Theory thing happen inside your head. And everything is the most important thing and the most tedious thing, and no one takes you seriously, and it makes you basically are an anime character.
You really are. So it does actually make sense.
Yeah. That's why Evangelion's so great. Like that's why it's that they all act like teenagers. It all makes sense. They're all freaking out constantly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because usually whenever you get the kind of like super mech kind of war show, the kids tend to be a lot more mature, or the complete opposite of like babies. And Evangelion found that really good middle ground of portraying like actual teenagers in this crazy situation.
Well, it's a whole it's like a beautiful like allegory for adolescence. You're like, everything's the end of the world. Oh, but what if it is?